everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
So I really contemplated making the story or telling the story or not, but it was such a negative energy that kind of like stuck with me. I was like, you know what? I gotta tell the story. So I had a best friend of mine who was one of my really good friends for 9 years. She ended up moving to Tampa. We're gonna call her by her name. Her name's Nicole. Nicole moved to Tampa, and then I stayed at the time was in Texas, right? We would always keep communication, but she ends up getting engaged, and long story short, she invited me to her bachelorette party, which was going to be in Tulum. So initially there were going to be a lot of girls coming on this trip, but a lot of girls canceled, and it ended up being 5 of us. The 4 girls all were on the same plane, I believe, and so they all landed in the Tulum airport 1 hour before I did. There's a restaurant in the Tulum airport, and they were eating there while they were waiting for me to land. I am the only person who does not know any of these people from this group. I'm not from Tampa. I've never been in Tampa. I've never met any of these girls. They all know each other, have met each other. And so when I landed, they have already pre-planned like how their trip is gonna go. They talk to each other about like how this trip is gonna go. I'm the one coming in not knowing anyone, not expecting how this is gonna go. And I do have to put a major disclaimer because this was my fault to the max. I wore this exact shirt while I was landing in Tulum. And I didn't think twice about it because it's white, and it was a complete accident. For every day that we were going to be in Tulum, we had themed outfits. I had already packed themed outfits thinking those were going to be my outfits of the day. I did not think for 2 seconds, and it was so stupid on me, and I'm super apologetic about it. I did wear white. From the airport to the Airbnb, I literally only thought that that was a wedding thing. I thought you just don't wear white on a wedding. I did not think twice. It was my fault completely. But I knew that that night, once we got to the Airbnb, we were going to change anyway, and we were going to wear animal print that night. And so that's one of the disclaimers that I wanted to make, first of all, because that was something bad on my part. So as we land, I immediately get added to by the girls, and I don't know these girls at this point.
Well, I don't know. Is there a rule that you cannot wear white around a bride, even on the bachelorette trip? I mean, I get they have theme, but she was coming from the airport, so it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if that's really bad, but if that was something that they was tripping over, that was very petty.
I get added to a Venmo group chat, okay? Not knowing what this is, not knowing what Venmo group is. Apparently, I just clicked accept, and now I was in like a split payment group, I guess. If y'all know what that is, cool. I had no idea what it was. I don't know how it works. It was a little confusing, to be honest, which I was like, okay, I don't know how they're doing transactions. My friend group, we usually keep it super, super simple. We usually just pay for ourselves. Sorry guys, the video cut off. What I meant to say was we just pay for ourselves to keep everything super simple. It's like one of us may be a big drinker, the other person, I can handle my liquor. So if I'm ordering like margaritas after margaritas, which I did the first night, I don't want that to be, it's not fair for other people to pay extra for me, and then vice versa. Like if other people are ordering a lot of things, I don't want to be responsible for paying extra when I don't have to, you know what I mean? So as I land and I get added to this group chat, immediately I have an expense saying you owe it was like $57 to whoever. I don't even know like the names of the group at this point. And so I'm like not really thinking too much of it. I'm like, oh, I don't even know how this works. They'll probably figure it out. I'm just like happy to be here. So I land, I get to the girls, and I'm like, I give Nicole a huge hug, and then I ended up giving like the other girls who seem to have like amazing energy like a hug, and I'm like introducing myself. I'm like, hi, I'm Sydney, blah blah blah. And so then we get into the car. No one said anything about the white. Like if someone would have said something to like be like, girl, what the hell? Like, why are you wearing white? I would have changed like in the car. Like I literally would have been like, oh my God, I didn't even think about it. I'm so sorry. So I did not know that was a problem because everyone's energy was so good, so happy. I did have a weird feeling about one girl, and that was Nicole's new best friend. Her name's Hannah. I felt weird vibes from her from the beginning, but it was nothing that I even thought of. Like, once I got in the car, it was all really just good energy.
Oh, I totally forgot to add, she wasn't nice at all. She wasn't kind. She
I could feel like she was like super jealous from the very, very beginning. And one of the first comments that she made to me, like she like asked something about something with a bridesmaid, and she goes, "Oh, wait a minute, sorry Sydney, you're not a bridesmaid." And like the whole group literally just went, "Damn." I kind of like laugh it off, but I was like, okay, for what? For what? We just met. So we end up getting to the Airbnb. We end up changing. It was animal print one night, and then we end up going out to a dinner. That's when I realized how the payments were working. They were putting each transaction of 5 girls on one card. So when we went out to eat, it was like all 5 of us who we all ordered drinks, blah, 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 on one person's card. You know what I mean? Which I was like, like why can't we just pay separately? Because I ordered a lot of margaritas, and I ended up asking the girls because I didn't know how like the Venmo thing worked. So I was like, do I Venmo you guys now or blah, blah? And they were like, no, wait till the end of the trip. So I'm like, okay. So it was like that the whole time, and I guess we were just alternating like whose card we were gonna put what on. And so one of the girls, her name was Alex, she was actually the coolest one, which was really, really shocking because at the end of the story, like she ended up being like batshit crazy, but like she was like the coolest one, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to get the next one like on your card?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." Like not even thinking twice about it. I'm like, if this is how like the girls are doing it, then this is just how we're doing it. Fast forward until the second to last night, we were going to a cenote, and it was $130 per person. Now there's 5 of us, so it came out to almost $700. So they were all like, okay, let's put it on Sydney's card. And I'm like, damn, first of all, close to $700? Like, why are we doing this as one full transaction? We can all pay separately. Not to talk about like my personal finances or anything like that, but I do run a business, and I do fairly well for myself. Money is not an issue in the slightest, and I'm fortunate to be able to say that. However, owning a business has taught me how to budget, how to be an amazing budgeter. So on a specific card, which was the card that I was using for the trip, I had already, like, because I've been to Tulum, so I had already put aside a specific amount for how much that I was going to spend. Once I tried using that card, I did not have that amount on that card. That was the card that I was using for the trip specifically, not how much I have in my personal account, not how much it was for that trip specifically. So then when I tried to use another card, it got flagged because I was in Mexico, and when it texts me saying, "Hey, was this you or was this your transaction?" I hit no, which ended up completely freezing my account. So I was like, oh shoot. It had nothing to do with not being able to afford something. Like, it just wasn't working. That's it. And so what I did was I asked one of the girls, I was like, "Hey guys, sorry, this is not working. Can we actually do, like, for this one specifically, can we just do our separate payments? Like, I can pay for myself, you guys pay for yourself. Like, it's $130 per person." Like, I think that's kind of stupid. Like, why is it all going on one person's card? That question alone made shit get so awkward and weird. And so the Hannah girl, who was already acting weird for multiple reasons before, I felt like she was just like disgusted by me. The girl Alex, who is, I believe, also best friends with Hannah, okay, who is best friends with Nicole, Alex was like, "Here, I'll get it." And so she puts the entire transaction on her card. And the Hannah girl comes up to me and goes, "You're gonna pay her back though, right?" And I'm like, aren't we all paying for like our portion? Like, isn't that how like the Venmo group works or something like that? Duh, yes. So that gets handled, and then I ended up feeling a little weird, I'm not gonna lie, because everyone just kind of got like super quiet and weird, and you could tell they were kind of like you know, like looking at each other. Like, you know when that weird feeling is, like, where you're like, okay, these girls are definitely probably gonna be like texting about me, or I did something to like piss these girls off, or I don't know, because I've never really dealt with something weird like this, but it just felt like weird energy. So I stepped to the side, for one, because I had a mother nature problem and we were all in bikinis, and I literally was like, oh my god, like, why would this start right now? So I went to the bathroom. While I was in the bathroom, I also decided to like call my boyfriend, and I was like, hey, like, can I ask you something? Like, it being a problem, like, I'm with these group of girls, and I explained the situation of what happened on the card, and my boyfriend kind of like was like it shouldn't be that big of an issue. As long as you guys like all pay like your portion, you should be fine. I was like, okay. So I get back out, we end up having a fine time, and then as we're at the cenote, we start ordering drinks. And so I noticed that they all decided to order drinks, and they were like, okay, we're good, like to the server. And I was like, well, I didn't even order like my drink. So I called the server back and I was like, and I'm gonna order drinks on my tab. And so one of the other girls, she was like, oh, Sid, we made sure to split your tab. I didn't think of it. Like, I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, that's normal. But I didn't want to be the only person that was like paying my own tab. I didn't mean for it to be like that. It was literally just the initial damn near, it was close to $700 that I couldn't have on my card. Like, anything else is completely fine, but not the $700, if that makes sense. And mind you, the other card is frozen at this point, so it literally was like a simple, like, go to your bank, contact them. This happens all the time. Like, you're traveling to a different country or a different state, and they want to make sure there's no fraud on your account. So they ask you, hey, did you make this transaction? If you hit no, you literally just call them because they're going to freeze your account thinking that it wasn't you, that there's fraud on your account. Simple, easy mistake. Your bank account should be good to go. Mind you, I also had a business card as well. Not using that, whole different story. But my thing is that, like, why does it have to be so complicated? Like, the cenote was kind of like a spa cenote, like cenote club, like really private, really tranquil. And so they were like, okay, 1:30. Oh, it's gonna be for 5. Okay, why not? It was so easy to walk up there. She was going to charge me for 1 ticket already, and then everyone was like, no, put it all on 1 card. Like, why not? Why can't you come after me, pay for yours, the next girl comes up, pays for hers? It literally is tap. It's not difficult. A restaurant I can understand because you're splitting and one girl got one thing, blah blah blah. Like, you know, I'm not tripping on how we do certain things, but when the opportunity is more simplistic and easy and it makes the situation easy, why are we pushing like, oh no, this has to go on one person's card? So at that point, when things just got weirder, all of the girls, they were really, really hooked on Instagram who was looking at their story. They were talking amongst themselves about people that they knew. And I am the most outgoing person. Everyone that knows me knows I can literally talk to a freaking door. I will make conversation. I like to have fun. For our Airbnb, I even bought like champagne, and I was like, guys, when we wake up, let's do mimosas, blah, blah, blah. I was the one telling them, hey, there's a club downtown that we should really check out. We're gonna have fun. They didn't want to do anything. They wanted to go home and watch true crime at like 9 o'clock on a Saturday in Tulum, which it's not my bachelorette party. It has nothing to do with me. Not a big deal. But just to give you some context of like what type of person I am, when we were going out to eat after the cenote and after that whole money debacle or whatever, their conversation was about their internal friend group, which I could not even put my 2 cents in. I could not relate to them. I could not. So of course I was sitting there quiet, and on top of that, the energy was really awkward on top of everything else. So at this point, I'm gonna be completely honest. It's one of those situations where maybe it's like a personality thing, or maybe it's just because like I'm the outside person, or maybe I actually just am the problem. I don't know, and that's why I'm making this story, because I know like the comments are gonna be like, girl, no, you messed up, or you weren't in the wrong, or I don't know. So at that point, now I guess like from an outsider looking in, it's looking like I'm the quiet one who's being awkward, and the rest of the group is having fun, and I'm being the weird one now. So I can see how that looked. It was more so just weird energy that was like building up. The last night when we were leaving, okay, this is when hits the fan. So my boyfriend was like, how's like the Tulum trip going? And this is an internal conversation between like me and my boyfriend. The girls have nothing to do with this, and I'm telling them I don't like it. I am not having fun. I'm supposed to be celebrating my best friend, and honestly, her and I, like, she's consumed with like her friend group, and she's not the same person that like I've known like when she was like living in Texas, which is fine. It is completely fine. People change all the time. And so I'm not really making it like a big deal, but I'm telling him I'm not having a good time. And so he's like, I'm gonna come to Mexico. And I was like, okay. He was like, we're gonna stay in an all-inclusive and just drive to Cancun when they're driving to the airport. I was like, you don't have to tell me twice. So I had that in the back of my mind already, where I was like, okay, like that's gonna make me feel better. But the girls, they don't really have to know about that, so I didn't tell them. So the end of the trip, once we were all going home and leaving the villa, that was when I was in the shower, and Hannah had texted in the group chat, hey, everyone, make sure, because they did say that everyone's going to pay out everyone from the Venmo group at the end of the trip. Remember that. I was the one that asked about it. So the Hannah girl ends up texting on the last day, everyone make sure that you're up to date with your payment or something like that. So I'm getting out of the shower. It was not even 5 minutes after that text when people were starting to say, like, I think Nicole was the last one who was like, I finished paying, or I'm up to date. Like, everyone should be getting up to date. So I'm the last one coming out, and I'm like, okay, I have my phone in my hand doing it as we speak, but I'm also making sure, because remember, I had $57 that I owed someone when I wasn't even there. So I'm calculating everything, just making sure that it's correct, and I send the correct amount, including tips, including if I had extra margaritas, I want someone to, I want to be able to give more, or I don't want to be overcharged. I think that that's completely normal. Gosh, this is a long video. As I'm opening the door and I'm walking out, literally doing the Venmo on my phone, I could just hear it in the Hannah girl's voice. She was like, so are you going to pay? And so I'm like, yes. And so as I do it, I had owed, I want to say it was like, I had already spent X amount of dollars, and I think I owed $300, right? So as I'm sending it, it said that I owed it to a specific girl. It was confusing how it worked, but I owed X amount to a specific girl. So it was like 300 plus some extra money. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay. And so I Venmo on the group, and Venmo goes, can't complete this transaction. Had nothing to do with the card, but it freaking sucked. In their minds, and I could see it on their face, because of that cenote situation, they were all like, yep. So immediately, like a freaking normal person, I'm hoping I sound normal. I turned to the girl and I was like, can I just Cashapp you or Apple Pay you or whatever? Like, easy fix. You're still getting your money and you're getting it instantly. Her answer goes, I mean, you literally can just Apple Pay your Venmo. I didn't know what that meant. So at that point, I'm like, and I am getting a little frustrated because I can tell these girls don't like me. I can already see it, and it's the last day, and I'm honestly irritated. I'm bored. The trip was boring. They were hooked on their phones, hooked on who was viewing their stories. None of them had over 1,000 followers. So I'm like, why does it even matter? That's all they talked about the entire trip. It was honestly boring. I was bored out of my mind. I show her the message that Venmo is showing me. I'm like, no, can I Apple Pay you? And she was like, I guess. Okay, so I Apple Pay her, boom, guess what? She got it. And so then it said that I owed an extra $57. Remember that $57 from when they all went out to eat and I was still on the airplane? So Hannah goes, you still owe this girl, Alex. She goes, you still owe Alex $57. No, I don't. She was like, yeah, you do. And I tell her, so I explained the transaction, and I'm like, no, I think this was a mistake. And I'm being so polite. I was like, I think this was from when you guys went to this restaurant that was at the airport. I wasn't there, so I'm showing you that's what it was. She was like, we didn't charge you for that. I was like, no, you did. It says the transaction on Venmo. She's like, but it's not that. We made sure not to put you on there. So I'm like, but you did. That's what it is. And so I show them, they click on it with their own fingers and they look at it and it says the airport restaurant, and they were silent. And so then they were like, okay, so now we're all paid up. So you think. So then I hear some whispering in the back, and Hannah is telling Alex it would have been the same price anyway. And I forgot to add, she also turned to me and was like, we all spent a lot of money on this trip. And I'm looking at her like, we all spent a lot of money on this trip, okay? But no, it's not fair. I'm not paying for y'all's meal just because y'all want me to. Like, I wasn't even there in Tulum at that point. I wasn't even there. So they're pissy, they're mad, they're whatever, they're talking under their breath, probably texting about me. I didn't give a f*** because I knew that they were about to go in the car to go to the airport. And what happens is when they walk out, their car comes up and they're like, all right, everyone, let's go to the airport. And another car pops up. And I'm like, sorry, guys. I'm going to Cancun. I'm extending my trip. But y'all be safe, though. Y'all have a safe flight. Gave everyone a hug. It was an awkward hug with Hannah. So then, they're going to the airport. I'm going to Cancun. I get this long text. We all had a group chat. So we had the Venmo chat, which was for money, and then we had like an actual like iPhone group chat. So I get a long text in the group chat. And that's when all hell broke loose. And
you know what? And you know what's crazy? She didn't make a part 2. Let me check. Ain't that a...
So
I ain't gonna lie. 20 minutes, I was into it. And she didn't even make an update. And it's been 20 days, Hannah, or Sydney. I'm not, she gonna get mad at me if I call her Hannah. Anyway, she posted this picture. I would assume this is the bride in the white. Hannah, this gotta be Hannah, the second chick. This gotta be the nice chick. You don't want my reasoning to why she's the nice chick. But this is definitely Hannah right here with the black hair. And honestly, I wouldn't even have wanted to be around them either. I know the biggest flex was her like getting her own car and dipping. But damn, why did you finish the story? Because I wanted to know like what you did, because you know I know they was probably like, we all came together, we didn't leave together, you know, this is such a rude thing to do with your friend, and you know, no. I know she lit their ass up, but that was a good ass story. But I wish she would have did part 2. I'm a follow up with her. Matter of fact, if y'all want to follow her, Sydney Sweeney, on TikTok. And you could probably find the second video before I do, if it ever comes out. But it's been 20 days. She ain't posted it. The person in the comments says, I haven't finished the video, but apologizing for wearing white in the airport is crazy. Who cares? Bachelorette trips have gotten out of hand. As a bride, I genuinely would not care. You flew all the way to Tulum for this trip and probably spent so much money. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth. I don't know why this video ain't got more views, because this is a really, really good story. But shout out to her. She need to finish it, because, you know, if y'all go check her out, tell her Everyday PJ sent you. Splitting the bill, that is one of the craziest things that this is like splitting the bill, and this was a video about splitting the bill and a girls trip, which is crazy because I've been trying to do splitting the bill content. But I seen a commercial about a system that you can use to split bills, and I think it's great for people that can just pick out what you ordered and then pay for what you ordered. But it has to go on one person's card. Now, if it's a debit card, I understand, because that money might get transactioned back to your debit card. If it's a credit card, you might have to wait a few days. I don't know what the details of that entails of, but also if like I wouldn't want to put everybody's stuff on my card. I wouldn't want to do it. I would just want to send them the money immediately, or pay for my own. And if we have to pay in, like the person who, I think if the whoever the host is should have that, should be doing that. Put it all on your bill. Let me just send you the money right now, and then you could cash it out, put it back into your bank account, and so you could do it again, and you could do it again. But I'm not putting everybody, especially people I don't know, and especially if one of them is being rude, I'm not putting your money on my card. And then you be rude, like, well, we just gonna get separate checks anyway. You should have been doing that from the get go. But see, I think that's why I don't go on trips with people I don't know, or I don't go because I just don't feel like, you know. But I've been like, I'm a Mason, so I'll be going to these meetings and stuff like this, and in these grand lodges, and so I might have to room with one of the brothers, and I'll just be like, look, I'll pay for the room, make sure we got it, and whoever rooms with me, just pay me when we figure it out, and then if we'll figure out who gonna room with me, boom, we'll split the the room. It's no big deal. It's only 2 nights, so it's like $150 at the most. I think the most I spent on one room a night is like 150, 160. So I'm spending $300. I would have did it either way if I was in a room by myself, or but splitting the cost just makes it easy. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know what's so difficult about that. If I'm going by myself, I'm gonna be in that room by myself, jumping on both beds. You know what I'm saying? Have my clothes laid out on one bed and me stretched out on another, man. Anyway, don't be splitting tickets, man. Just or it is a good way to have that, but just do that, man. Do the Venmo thing, and just trust your people, but don't be rude about it. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section.